Well, hello there, friend. Welcome to the fire. You ever lose your temper at the table or got really heated? Well, I got an interesting story for you here. Tabletop ends in a fistfight. r/RPG horror stories posted by accomplish-bug-143. This story is from when I was in college, freshman year, second semester. This is important because if you think the people in this story are immature, well, that's because we were. So, I had only been in 2 D&D games before as a player at this point, and I wanted to shoot my shot at being a DM. So, I hopped on the GroupMe for our apartment and made a recruitment post. Had a group of 5 players, but only one in the story is actually important. I'll call him Grumpy. Grumpy came up to me and told me that he was an experienced player who had been playing in dozens of games before, but he didn't like that I was going to be running the campaign in 5e. He recommended Pathfinder, told me how much better and customizable it was over a series of texts filled with links to resources. But I declined. I was new, and tackling the rulebook I already looked at twice before felt overwhelming. So, I wasn't confident in running anything but 5e. He seemed a bit upset about it, but ultimately decided to sign up anyway. Session 0. We're making our characters. There are 2 freshly new players at the table, so we took our time in slowly building out their characters. I am a heavy RPer who loves world building, so I informed everyone that the campaign would be homebrew in terms of plot. Grumpy then brought up a question about homebrew classes and races, which I fearfully declined. Grumpy then questioned how I can make a homebrew story without homebrew characters and classes, and I didn't have a solid answer. He then laughed it off and simply told me that he would be running a min-max human hunter build, which I had no idea what it was at the time, so I kinda let it go. 6 sessions later, and I'm fed up with Grumpy. His hunter was more powerful than I thought, so I thought about increasing the difficulty of the mobs, but I didn't want to punish the other players either. He also didn't seem interested in any of the NPCs, never talked to anyone except for the occasional vendor to buy something. But what was worse is that he was just oozing with the body language of someone who obviously wasn't tuned in. He occasionally rolled his dice even though there was nothing to roll for. He was constantly looking at his phone most of the time. Occasional sighs and stretches after long moments of pure silence. After one session, I got with him over text to try and brainstorm a potential side quest for his character, and he said something along the lines of, "Sure," and "Cool," without much feedback. Now, for the final session. I intended this session to be mostly RP and some skill checks, but no combat. They were in a new town, so it was time to introduce NPCs, quest givers, and restock. The session had gone on for about, 3 hours at this point, and a player wanted to know the price of an item. I took out my book and searched for the answer. Cue long wait time. Grumpy was extremely bored, so he did all his usual things before leaning forward to grab a die out of the big bag of dice we had centered in the table and tossed it at me. I assumed it was to get my attention and it missed, so I ignored it. The second hit me in the chest and I was peeved, so I shot a look at him, which Grumpy proceeded to smile before tossing a third one at my face. I grabbed the entire bag of dice and threw it at him, sending the contents spilling all over the lobby floor. After that, we were on each other, tables and chairs knocked over, the classic college tussle, but with extra dice. Hard to tell which one of us was more effed up by the end of it, but we both got a few good blows in. The players had to pull us apart and we cursed at each other before the RA came in. He gave us a warning. He was a fairly nice guy, had us clean up everything, but during the cleanup I had told everyone that I was officially done hosting the campaign. Went on a long hiatus after that and didn't touch D&D for like 2 years. I thought that I wasn't cut out for it. Words of wisdom. If you want to fight a player at the table, take the rulebook with you for extra bludgeoning damage. Ugh, wow. Just wow. The first red flag here has to be the series of texts from Grumpy about wanting OP to change systems to Pathfinder. I would have just straight up told Grumpy after that first text if I wanted to run a Pathfinder game, I would have advertised for one. Then that whole homebrew thing? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that's all about. Homebrewing a setting, a story, whatever, but still going by the book is perfectly fine. It's normal. At this point, I'm pretty sure Grumpy was either exaggerating their tabletop experience or the extent of their experience was just watching YouTube videos. And yeah, gotta agree with OP here. Grumpy pretty much just checked out. And what's worse was that Grumpy also became disruptive. Honestly, if you're gonna be like that, why are you even at the table in the first place? You're just ruining the game for everyone else. Definitely an a-hole thing to do. Also, Grumpy, you're lucky that the group wasn't actually playing Pathfinder at that point, because if they were and OP started swinging that core rulebook around, you would have lost a tooth at the very least. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. And would you kindly follow the socials posted in the description below. As always, be good, be great, be awesome.